Hey everyone, welcome to AvidMax tying tutorials. Today we're going to show you how to tie the Chubby Chernobyl. So it's a pretty cool fly. This is the evolution of the Chernobyl ant. We're going to start it with our 5262 TMC hook, and then we're going to put some foam on it. We're going to use the 2mm hairline thin foam in black. We're doing a purple variation. So with that purple variation, I'm going to use the UV ultraviolet dun dubbing for the main body. The thread we're going to use is the Uni 6/0 in black. We're going to have a little bit of crystal flash sticking out of the back of the fly as kind of an attractant. And then we will add some legs. These are the Crazy Legs Purple Electric Blue. And then finish it off, do some wings as the Sparkle Emerger yarn. And I'm using the cream color today. So we're just going to start our thread right here on the hook shank, right behind the eye, and work our way back. These are great flies. If you haven't ever fished them, it's something that you should give a shot. In the summer months, when you have the chance to fish big dry flies, this is a great one to put on, not only by itself or in a hopper dropper rig as well. We're just going to work our thread back here. Don't have to be too neat. We're going to cover this all up with dubbing. We'll go right about to that hook bend here, and we will tie in our first material. So the first material I'm going to throw in is this crystal flash, and I'm just going to measure and let that stick off the back. So I like to do right about the gape in the hook sticking out of the back. You might see some people do it with a little bit more, a little bit less. It's just kind of how I gauge mine. We'll tie that in right on the top of the hook shank here. And then we can clip out our excess material and clean it up, secure it down. So from there, once we got that all in place, we'll add our foam. So I use the River Road Creation body cutters for this, the Chernobyl size, or the Chernobyl shape. And pretty easy to use here. We're going to put that right on top and secure it down to the hook shank. So I'm just going to measure it out, kind of keep it even. Then I'll do a loose wrap right over the top. Make sure it's going to seat where I want it. And then you can come down and pull it tight to the shank here. And then I always like to do a couple of wraps snuck underneath just to help keep it in place. Then from there we can kind of work our way up on the foam just slightly. We're going to create an area where we're going to dub it and add our legs as well as our wing material. So I'm just going to create a little bit of space, probably right up to where that hook point is, to work with here. Just like so, nice and neat. And then we can come in and add our legs. This is a cool color from Hairline, and these Crazy Legs also have a lot of action to them. It's a fairly brittle material, or flexy material. And I'm just going to measure right about the hook shank and then use that as my halfway point to tie these in. And we'll do one right on my side, just like you do the Chernobyl ant if you've seen us do that video recently. It's a similar pattern, just some extra steps and some extra materials to kind of make it a little more tricked out. Then we'll do the same on the far side, the side closest to you, and just make sure we got those in there secure. From there, we can come in and add our wing. This is going to be a little bit of that Sparkle Emerger yarn. Use Antron yarn. Do white or cream. I'm using cream today. Mix up the color variations. Lots of different color variations to this Chernobyl, Chubby Chernobyl. See it a lot in tans and different variations like that. So it's a very, very cool fly, very versatile fly. Pull So we'll tie that in right here on the top, and I always kind of work it up to the front of where I had that gap, and what that allows me to do is then I can pull it back and wrap over it again and just double that wing up right here as we're kind of working around the legs towards the back. And then I'm going to clip that off just a little long. We'll come back in and clip it shorter here in a moment, or towards the end anyway, and then we can start dubbing. So this is going to be the purple to match those legs. There's a little bit of low-tacked wax on this ultraviolet dun color, the UV dun. Just help get stuck to the thread here. That wax is handy to have with these synthetic dubbings. So a nice thick dubbing noodle. We're gonna dub the whole body and use quite a bit of it, so you don't have to be too timid with this particular dubbing noodle. We'll just start right behind the legs here. Make sure we're covering up everything on our underbody that we want to before we jump them, and kind of keep or utilize the dubbing to get our legs to do what we want them to here. So we'll work on a little bit of a back end of the fly here using this dubbing before we work our way forward. It's an awesome summer fly. Fish are going to be eager looking up. Plop this down on the water. Don't have to have too much of a delicate presentation for this fly. You can throw it down, and a lot of times that splash is enough to encourage a big fish to come up and take it. So now that we got that section of it nice and covered, I'm just going to do a couple of quick wraps here before I start to dub on forward and create the underbody. A regular Chernobyl ant, you do the underbody with another piece of foam. Chubby Chernobyl here utilizes dubbing for the underbody. Kind of lets you have a little more freedom in the profile that you create and what you're going for. So see these a lot of times in a golden stone color, so browns and tans and even olives and things like that as well. And then as we work our way up here to the front, we want to leave ourselves just a little bit of room so that we can do the front end of the fly to match the back end of our fly there, and do an extra set of legs and dubbing and all that jazz. So I'm going to call that good right about there. I'm going to pull my foam back down and jump up and capture on top of that. And just nice and secure to the hook shank, and then we'll do the same thing we did on the rear and just create a little bit of space here right up to that hook eye to where we can do our legs, our wing, and then all that final dubbing as well. There we are. So again, the first thing we do at this stage is our legs. Turn those in right in the center of the section we created on either side. And we can trim out our excess as usual and do our wing. So same thing that we did in the back, except for I'm going to make this one a little bit longer. Put it right on top. And get it all the way up towards the front again, so that we can then pull it back. And wrap it down over itself one more time. Just like so. Make sure everything's secure. And then we can clip it out. So I'm going to pull them all together, see if I can get all 4 sections of what we tied in here pulled together. Come right to the back of the fly and trim them out. And then the last step before we go to our whip finish is just to dub out this last section here. And again, that dubbing wax really helps create the noodle that you need with this UV ice dubbing. So do a few wraps, kind of check our underbody, just make sure everything's looking the way that we want it to there. These longer hooks, a lot of times when you're pulling your thread, I like to give it some support under the hook eye there. Don't want to bend my hook out when I got it in the vise. Unintentionally anyway. And use the dubbing to splay our legs. A little bit more. Just like so. And then what I like to do is just jump right in front of this foam here on the front with my thread, a couple of quick wraps, and then that's where I'm going to whip finish, right behind that hook eye. Just like so. Our excess thread, can trim our legs. It's pretty good. And then a little bit of glue, Zap-A-Gap, super glue, whatever your flavor. Head cement, just to keep everything locked down for us. There's a nice purple Chubby Chernobyl. If you enjoyed the video today, make sure to give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see us tie in the future, please drop us a comment in the lines below. For more fly fishing and outdoor related videos, be sure to subscribe to the AvidMax YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there.